Hi guys, I'm just setting up for the day, just about to start work. I thought I'd do a quick vlog just before I start and share with you something I've been doing recently. So I've been recording a podcast, a video podcast, part of Volunteers Week. So I've been interviewing my colleagues who have been doing some amazing volunteering over the past year, etc. And I thought, why not do a series speaking to them, which I could publish during Volunteers Week. So Volunteers Week is a yearly celebration of the amazing achievements of volunteers, their dedication and the contributions that they're making to the people that they're supporting and the local community, etc. So I thought, it's no different in my company where we have some amazing volunteers having some really deep impact and changing a lot of lives, and they're dedicating some long hours and committed for a long period. So I reached out to some of our star volunteers to share their story, why they got involved, the impact they were having, and the experience has been fantastic. I've absolutely loved the process. Firstly, the process of learning how to create a podcast. Although I haven't published it externally, there's a bit more learning to do. But the setup and how to record it and interview it and researching how to script it, all that process, I've learned a lot. So it's been a good kind of testing ground for potentially launching my own podcast. And what I've been using, just a few, just to share some of my learnings, is the big one is the recording software. So I've been using a service called Riverside. So this is a specialist podcast recording software, and it has big advantages versus MS Teams and Zoom. You might be thinking, why don't I just record it on those? With Riverside, there's many advantages, and it's specialized for a reason. So firstly, the recording of your podcast, your video podcast, and you can do it audio as well, is recorded locally, so on your machine. So if you imagine, let's say you're recording something on your phone, it's going to use the quality of your camera and the audio as well and store it locally. It's doing it exactly the same, but uploading it at the same time. And you can use Riverside on your mobile device as well. So what that means is it preserves the original high quality version of the video, and then it does the same for your guests on your podcast, and then it just uploads. So it doesn't matter if your connection is really low or it's going very slow. That's okay, because it's recording it locally and then just uploading it. And the two podcasts that I have recorded, it uploaded it. It only took a few seconds at the end to finish up the upload, because it does it at the same time as you're recording. It uploads at the same time, which I think is fantastic. And it has a very simple, nothing over the top and fancy, but it has a really good post-production editing facility afterwards. And essentially what it can do is, if you want it, the screen split, so you have, if it's a one-on-one interview, then you can have it side to side. It uses this AI functionality if you want it to intelligently select the person that's speaking and then have them full screen. So I thought that's really good. So if you're starting out with podcasting, I think it's essential to use one of these specialist podcast hosting services, recording services, and then hosting, that's a different service actually. And I'm using the free version of Riverside. It comes up with a little logo watermark at the beginning, only for a few seconds. Most of the time I don't even notice it, and you get up to 2 hours of recording per month. And then of course there's premium versions where it'll take out the watermark. You can download the transcript, etc., and you get more hours per month. I think your setup as well is important. So having a good mic, lighting as well. I've got a bit of lighting over here as well. I'll give you a little recording in a bit, and having a screen and setup. And I've learned that you need to go speak with the person that you're interviewing. Don't cold invite them and then away you go into the interview. You have to kind of do a pre-screen and I run through a kind of a rehearsal, not a full-on version of it. It's just, it could be like a 10-minute conversation to get them into the mix and them thinking about what you're going to be talking about. And hopefully, most of the time, it's really your guest speaking and you're just there to facilitate. So I've really enjoyed interviewing, and it was really interview. It's a conversation I'm having, very informal, with my colleagues who've been sharing their insights. So I've been learning a lot from them. So I think it's a great way to enhance your knowledge as well. And again, another thing through the process is I'm learning how to facilitate, I'm learning how to present, I'm learning how to make the guests comfortable. But from both the first two that I did, the guests were nervous, and it really surprised me because they're really accomplished people and they are doing presentations all the time, you know, they're facilitating workshops, etc. But suddenly when they're in this format, their nerves crept in. And maybe that part of it is that they've not done this before. It's something new, and then once the cameras start rolling, that's a bit different, isn't it? But it was still great. And then once they get into the flow, it was really good, and they were coming. They were sharing anecdotes and stories that were absolutely amazing. So hopefully, I hope others find it valuable as well. And it's just a start of it. It's part of a 3-part mini series, but it's been so fun, and the process is pretty easy. The software makes it super easy. I can produce and publish, download the podcast within like half an hour after the recording. So I think it'll be a piece of cake doing at least one podcast a month. At the moment, I'm doing like 3 in 2 weeks. So I think it'll be pretty easy, and I can reach out to. There's so many colleagues across the company that are doing some amazing stuff, and hopefully, you know, it's a bit of a practice run for me. So I'm learning on the job, if you know what I mean, in the job. So it is hopefully becomes a precursor to my own podcast that I'm working on at the moment. I'm just working on the kind of the format. I've got a name, I've got a logo, and I've got a short list of guests. One person who used to be the mayor of Newcastle upon Tyne, just a short year ago. So hopefully I'm going to have them on as my first guest, or eventually further down the line. And just to give you a bit of a teaser of it, the aim of my podcast is to share inspiring stories. So growing up, I didn't have many role models, and I had various different challenges in my life, etc. And I think the huge one, what's made a huge difference to me is having mentors and role models and people that have been there, done that. They're not necessarily telling me what to do. They are creating that spark, that awakening, that the realization that I have those skills to excel. So even if I don't know it myself, so it's building up that confidence. So the best mentors, I think, make you realize that you've got the skills already to achieve. It's not about competency at the time, because skills can be learnt along the way. It's about raising aspirations. So along those lines, I want to interview people that have amazing stories, who have been through hardship and came through at the end, and doing some amazing things. So to help so in my podcast, I'll share the stories, and hopefully it inspires others as well. And they can take away key lessons from those. So I'll be doing it as a video podcast, publishing it on some different platforms, and also on a new YouTube channel that I'll be setting up. So that's a bit about what I've been doing recently over the last week or so. Please like and subscribe if you want to keep updated with any future vlogs, and I hope some of the lessons I'm sharing on these vlogs is beneficial and things that you can take away and implement in your life. I'm also continuing to do a series on instructional videos, hints and tips, etc., on digital tools that I use and digital skills, etc., to level up, upscale, improve your productivity, your workflow, etc. and just enhance whatever it is that you're doing in your life. I hope some of my experience that I've learned, gained, and skills that I've picked up is beneficial for you. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.